And as the world continues to be rattled with the coronavirus outbreak, with key economies and sectors taking the hit, one sector badly affected by this is the hospitality sector. Mr. Samuel Alabi, President, Hotel Owners and Managers Association and the Chairman, Tourism and Hospitality Group of Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, joins me now to tell us more about the sector's response to the outbreak. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
So, how severe is the impact of this pandemic on your sector?
Well, unlike many other sectors, like banking, manufacturing, construction, retail business, that were allowed to operate with some sort of guidelines under the even lockdown regime, hotel and other businesses were closed totally. So, be that as it may, I will say without any fear of contradiction that our losses were total. It was zero revenue and zero business.
So are you able to quantify the amount of money perhaps you may have lost in your business?
Yeah, in terms of Naira and Kobo, that may not be easy for me to mention on behalf of all members of our association, but the losses were colossal, very huge.
So what is the job situation like? How has jobs in that sector been affected?
Yeah. Majority of our employees had to be put on on leave, on forced leave, where we maintain skeletal staff for safety purposes, that is security, also to ensure maintenance of machineries and equipment that may not be shut down in perpetuity. So they have to stay around and ensure that those facilities have been maintained. While the bulk of our staff, the operational staff, were asked to go home, since no customer, no business, and hence there's no need for them.
Well, now that the lockdown kind of is being eased, some of the hotels are being asked to open, gradually. So what's the situation? That
pronouncement for us to open came like 3 or 4 days ago. So our members are still at the verge of reopening, because I'm sure you must have heard the policy of Lagos State that asked our members to fill certain data online before they commence business. And most of us are just resuming back to business. Just, if not today, maybe tomorrow, because of the long lockdown policy that was just lifted a few days back.
Now, is there any consideration for palliative for this industry?
Yes, I am aware that the federal government, under the Federal Ministry of Culture and Information, as well as the Lagos State Ministry of Tourism, we set up independent committees that ask our members to submit a memorandum as to the extent and scope of their losses. As a date, we are not aware of the quantum of palliative that will be given, but it is essential that our members are afforded palliative because of a lot of complexity and complications that will arise if such interventions were not done for us.
All right, but you are aware of some of the intervention funds announced by the central bank. We have the 50 billion at least for the small and medium businesses, which I believe most of your members should be able to benefit.
I have been correcting the people that fund is not meant for us. That fund is essentially for SME and some other sectors.
Okay, your business does not fall into the SME?
No. We are talking of investment running to billions. I don't want to be mentioning hotels here. So it cannot be a place we give them 5 million, 10 million or 50 million for them to be able to recover their losses.
Now, has the association made any requests for the palliative?
Yes, this is what I said, that our committees to Lagos State, we submitted a memorandum in accordance with the request of Ministry of Tourism.
And what exactly are they demanding?
What they ask us is to tell them what are our areas of losses. Number one, we told them our members suffered total loss of revenue. Number two, some of the existing financial facilities could not be serviced by our members during the lockdown period. Number three, we have paid some charges, rates to government in January, in February. Those charges and rates, we're asking that they should be postponed till next year. If it has not been paid, we're asking that those charges and levies should be postponed till the following year. We're also asking for cessation of some taxes during the 3-month period and a lot of other things.
And what responses are you getting?
The committee are still working. The committee of both levels. The federal government set up committee, the Lagos State Ministry of Tourism committee, they are still deliberating. We are waiting the outcome of government.
Well, we know that the COVID-19, of course, affected quite a lot of things. Yes, the hotels are not working, and that is because people were not traveling.
Yes.
You know. Now, the government has announced that very soon the flights will resume, domestic flights will resume. Are you excited about this?
Yes. It has a direct positive impact on our business. Because as it is now, even when we open our business for customers, it will only be limited to intercity customers. If you cannot travel from a town to the other, the need for you to stay over will not arise. But with the lifting of the ban on domestic airline as from 21st of June, we trust that businesses will start to come in. And if eventually the international route is also free, it will be better for us.
So what's happening to your various suppliers at this time?
That is another head of our claim. In February and even in early March, many of our members, of course, accepted deliveries from our suppliers, unknown that in a few weeks' time, the hotel will be locked down. Most of these items were perishable. They are now bad in our store, so we have to start again to stock our store back, incur expenses, and a lot of things. Those customers, those suppliers, will not listen to us that the items supplied by them could not be used for business. So we have to pay for items that we are unable to use during the lockdown. And I'm sure they also bear a brunt because there was no regular supply from them to us during the period of lockdown.
Okay, now before this COVID-19, of course, I'm sure this industry or this sector must have been going through some kind of challenges. Can you share some of the challenges of this sector?
The number one issue we have is about power supply. Power supply is very important in the hospitality business. If you have 100 rooms hotel and you only have like 10% occupied, if there's no power supply from the public means, it means you have to put your generator on. In Nigeria, generator that are supposed to serve as backup to the main supply has now become the main supply, while the power supply from the mains remain the backup to the generator. Is an absurdity. And then the situation in Nigeria, the traffic hold up, especially in Lagos. If somebody wants to take his family for a weekend treat in a restaurant and spend like 2-3 hours on the road in the traffic, such family members may decide to turn back midway, or even if they manage to get there, that they may not be able to, they may not want to come back again. And you also talk about even funding of the business. Unlike the creative arts, that they have intervention funds created during the era of Goodluck, President Goodluck. The hospitality sector and tourism as a whole has no such fund where our members can get interest as a single-digit interest rate. So we have to compete with other business with a high volume of turnover at the commercial bank, and it is not helping at all.
All right, so what lessons would you say your members have learned or are learning from this pandemic in terms of perhaps that would reshape the way they do business?
You see, it came to us like a thunderbolt.
Yeah,
Nobody prepared for it.
Absolutely.
But what we have done, in line with the world-based business practices, in South Africa, the Federated Hospitality Association, or in America, the American Hotel and Lodging Association, came up with like a protocol. But now the members who run their business take into consideration the coronavirus factors, telling them how the distance to maintain and a lot of things. Our association also came up with a protocol to assist our members to make our business safer for customers, guests, and lawful visitors that may find their ways into the business. Because hotel business is about confidence. Once customers lose confidence in their safety in any one or two hotels, that might distract others from going to any other hospitality outfit.
So what is the outlook like for this industry post-COVID going forward, having learned these lessons, the need for safety and all of that?
Well, it's going to be, I would like to say that it's going to be replanning. We talk about conference centers, event halls, restaurants, the way we operate in Nigeria, where you want to celebrate your wedding or your birthday, where everywhere will be jam-packed, can no longer be so. People will have to learn how to stick to the number of IV issued, so as to ensure that overcrowding did not occur, and then unplanned infections will not arise.
All right, thank you very much for your time, Mr. Alabi. Samuel Alabi is the President, Hotel Owners and Managers Association, and of course the Chairman, Tourism and Hospitality Group of LCCI. We'll do an opening call to London as well as look at the developments in the local markets after the break. Do stay with us.